2024. It's finally your year. You're gonna finally do something meaningful with your life. You won't learn a new language, you're not gonna read more books, and you're not gonna be working on furthering your career. No, you're gonna do something truly important. Becoming a RuneScape billionaire. In this video, I'll show you how. There are a ton of different ways to make money in old school RuneScape. You can train your gathering skills for money. You can process raw materials into finished goods for money. Both of these are for bots, and I will not be going over them in this guide. All joking aside, there are thousands of ways that you can become a billionaire. Come in here close, I'll let you in on the big secret. At the most basic level, you have to do something that makes you money. Do that thing over time, and you will accumulate wealth. And most importantly, don't lose it doing some stupid shit. You can really do this any method that you have fun doing, but some methods are better than others. Before we move into the individual methods, I need to talk to you about opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is a cost associated with an activity which equates to what you are giving up in order to do that activity. Think of it this way. If you spend 1 hour making unfinished potions, you can't spend that same hour killing Vorkath. Sure, you might have made 300k from making those potions, but if you chose the Vorkath route, you could have made 3.2 mil in the same time, so the opportunity cost of making those potions was the 2.9 mil that you lost by doing so. And obviously, I'm not saying that you should reduce this game just into like raw GP output, Nex is the best money in the game, but I absolutely hate Nex. I'd rather do the Theater of Blood for half as much money because of the extra enjoyment that I get. This is a video game that we're playing for fun, so you gotta factor in having fun into what you're doing. If you're doing something that makes you a lot of money but also makes you miserable, that kind of offsets the cost a little bit. Now that I got you guys in a billionaire mindset, it's time to activate that billionaire Sigma grind set. I want to talk to you guys about 5 of my favorite methods that could make you a billionaire in 2024. Wiki currently has Armadillo at around 6.2 mil per hour. Quick reality check, you're not going to get that. The way that these GP per hour rates are calculated is by aggregating all of the possible loots and your chance of obtaining them from the monster, averaging them out to get an average loot per kill, and then multiplying that out by how many kills you can get per hour. I say that you're going to make less than the wiki rate because that assumes absolute max gear, and your setup probably looks something like this. Slayer task, definitely recommend being on one. This sucks without it. God Dehide, you want 1 Armadillo piece and 1 Ancient piece. For bolts, just diamonds, don't bother with rubies, and honestly the rest of this is up to you and pretty self-explanatory. If you have better gear than that, by all means, upgrade the gear setup. If you don't, go grind out something else and come back before doing Armadillo. Should you bring Chinchampas? This is a bit of a trade-off. I like to. They speed up your kills greatly. You can get way more kills per trip with them, but they are very expensive. If you die, you lose all of them. Hilarious. And if you don't get any drops, you are going to lose money. To get in to fight the big bird, you need either an ecumenical key, which you get in the wilderness, or you can get kill count by killing Aviances. To kill Kree, pray range and rigor, and shoot her with your crossbow. Make sure your HP doesn't hit 0, rinse, repeat. If you're using Chinchampas, lure her into this corner and wait for her to come in within melee distance. You're going to want to attack the melee minion with the Chinchampa, then quickly target Kree, but before you throw the Chinchampa, retarget the melee minion. When the melee minion dies, you can finish her off with your crossbow. You can heal off the minions with Blood Barrage and use Bones to Peaches to heal after the kill. When you're done with your trip, don't teleport out of God Wars dungeon because this erases your kill count. When you're ready to bank, you can teleport out, and you're going to want to run back south. If you dropped your grapple, you can get another grapple out of this crate right here. This will only work if you have Nex unlocked, but we are going to be going down to the next layer, getting kill count, and then going and banking at Nex. After you're done regearing, you can head right back upstairs and retain all of the KC that you had from killing Armadillo. This saves a ton of time from teleporting out and having to get all of that KC all over again. How much money you're going to be able to make here is really up to how fast you can kill the boss. What we're after here is the Armadillo armor set and the Armadillo hilt. After aggregating everything and subtracting our supply cost with the crossbow setup, we're looking at around 250k per kill, less than that if you're using Chinchampas. With some of the higher gear setups, 20 kills per hour is extremely reasonable, which should net you 5 million per hour. With our super welfare setup with the crossbow, I think you could probably squeak a kill every 4 minutes, which would be 15 kills per hour for a total of 3.75 mil per hour. By killing Armadillo, it'll take you 200 hours to make a billion GP with the 20 kills per hour, or 266 at our slower setup. This honestly sounds like an insane amount of time, and it is. You probably play this game a little bit less, but that's really just 4 hours a week, and I know you nerds are playing more than that. There's two types of bosses in Old School Runescape. There's some that give you consistent cash over time, and there's others that have massive drops, but until you get that drop, there's nothing in between. Personally, I prefer the whale hunting. Getting a massive loot feels great, and usually they make a lot more money. But if you're short on cash, Vorkath is going to be your best friend. Currently, the wiki has Vorkath at 3.2 million GP per hour, at 30 kills per hour. 30 kills per hour sounds really doable to me in a budget-ish setup. You can do a range setup, but I prefer the melee setup, and the melee setup does make more money because you're not using bolts. Most of your gear is going to be up to you. I recommend getting either a Lance or a Fang. Both of them are very good DPS. The Lance is slightly better. You're going to want to use a Salve E or the Salve EI, as it gives you a massive bonus against undead creatures like Vorkath. And then you're also going to need Dragonfire Protection, either an extended super anti-fire potion, or you can use a Dragonfire shield. As far as the inventory goes, we got some food and restores. We need a way to get there. Defense, lore, and special attack. We have the anti-venom, anti-fire, and then in the pouch we have Crumble Undead. The Vorkath fight is very simple. You want to hit the boss, dodge the fireballs, dodge the acid, Crumble Undead the facehugger, and collect your loot. Vorkath does have 2 big money drops, but they are so insanely rare that they don't really make up a meaningful amount of the money that you're going to make at Vorkath. Most of the money that you make at Vorkath comes from the bones, the chaos runes, and the death runes, in that order. Killing Vorkath will take you around 312 hours, in order to make a billion GP. There are a lot faster moneymakers than Vorkath out there, but Vorkath is excellent for those who need a consistent moneymaker or don't have the gear to do endgame content yet. Speaking of not having gear to do content, the Corrupted Gauntlet has no gear requirements. You go in naked. There's a good reason you see this at the start of pretty much every rebuilding video, because you can go in with no money. It's a really good way to build a solid foundation under your feet. The wiki currently has this at 4.1 mil GP per hour with 7 completions per hour. Like every other moneymaker on our list, your money per hour is going to depend on your kills per hour. At 6 kills per hour, 10 minutes per kill, that's actually a really slow run. You're looking at 3.5 mil per hour. And if you're really good, you can probably get 730 most of the time, which would be 8 per hour, and you're looking at 4.7 mil per hour. Shout out to the wiki for actually being accurate for once. I do expect this moneymaker to be better in the future. Currently, there are just a ton of bots here, and hopefully Jagex does something about it soon, but that's something for another video. The Corrupted Gauntlet is pretty difficult, so I want to leave you guys with a few tips and tricks. Failure to complete the Corrupted Gauntlet usually boils down to one of 2 problems. Either the prep or the boss. Are you running out of time and not being able to prepare enough resources for the boss, or is the boss knocking you out? One of the biggest issues I see with people's preps is that they do stick around the main room in this little C formation, and they're unwilling to deviate from that. You should really be opening every single room that your character comes near, and the chance that there are resources that you need inside of it. Always know where you are so you can get back to the prep room quickly, and always be doing something, never be standing still. If the boss is killing you, remember, you can't do damage if you're dead. Don't get too greedy with the hits, just eat the fish. I know it's gonna slow you down, but that's fine. If you're running out of food during the fight, fish more food before you go into the fight. And when learning, I do recommend tier 2 armor so you can mitigate some of that chip damage, so you have to eat a little bit less. If you grind it out nothing but the gauntlet, which I don't recommend, it'll take you roughly 250 hours to become a billionaire. Bardorphus is one of RuneScape's best moneymakers right now, but with an asterisk. Bard's drops are extremely rare. You have a 1 in 136 chance to hit the unique table. After you roll the unique table, there's a second roll to see what you get off of the unique table. The odds are here above, but what we're really after here is the Ultor Vistage. The new mechanic that they released with the Vistages is that you have to roll them 3 times in order to actually get the drop. The problem is, the first 2 times you roll a Vistage, you don't know it because you just get a normal common loot instead of it, but the game keeps track and there's an invisible progress that you're making. This can lead to the sunk cost fallacy and people spending way too much time at this boss, believing that they've already sunk so much time in it. They might be 2 out of 3, and they might just be 1 more Vistage drop away from getting the drop. Vard is really only worth it if you grind him until you get the Vistage. If you total up all of the loot that you get on the way to getting your Vistage, on average, you should make 278 mil every time you get that Vistage in 1088 kills. I don't recommend doing this all at once. That's a really good way to burn out, but these kills are super fast. You can get them done in like a minute to a minute and a half. You can do these with a whip really easily. At the time being, Fang on Slash is better, but they have announced that they're looking to nerf the Fang, so by the time you're watching this, Tentacle Whip might be a better option. Who knows, things constantly change. But yeah, you can send a few kills every once in a while, and eventually you will get the Vistage, but you're not going to see the real big boy returns until you do so. Personally, I really don't like this new drop mechanic. I know it's a little bit controversial. I think most of the people actually agree with me on that. But I don't like not knowing the progress that I am towards getting the drop when there is progress towards a drop. I would have rather it just been the flat 1 in 1088. I know a lot more people would have gone dry, but I think it would have been a better system if they somehow allowed you to see what your progress was. Maybe make it like thematic or something, like have like little torches out front of the boss so you could see like one lights up when you got it. Just so you like kind of know where you're at, so you don't just keep on mindlessly grinding the boss when you might not have even received one yet. That's why I was saying don't just grind this all out at once, do a few kills here and there, and honestly don't worry how many Vistages you may or may not have rolled because it's gonna drive you nuts. Earlier in this video, I made a mistake. I said you should switch up content to keep it fresh and not just grind out one thing the entire time. This does not apply to the Theater of Blood. The Theater of Blood has the lowest gear requirement of all of the raids and is easily the best content that Jagex has ever produced. Really, all you need to get started is a basic setup like this with Void, a Tent Whip, a basic mage and range switch, and a BGS. Honestly, you don't even need the BGS. On my Iron Man, I don't have it. Every time I go in, I just apologize and say that I forgot it. Currently, the wiki has Theater of Blood without a scythe at 7.5 mil per hour with 2.5 kills per hour. This averages out to 24 minutes per run, which is super doable. Usually there will be a few sites on your team anyways if you're doing like a 416 or a We Do Raids or something like that, so they should speed this up significantly. So you might be able to make even more than this. Currently, the uniques at Tob are just worth so much more than they were in the past. The Scythe has a rumored buff in the future, so it shot up to over 1 billion GP. It's back down to around 900 mil, which is still double what it was this time last year. The Avernic is 76 mil, and this is where most of your money is going to come from. If you do a lot of Toa or Cox or something like this is basically the light bearer of the Theater of Blood. You just get so many of them, and being 76 mil each, it really does add up. Also, you get tons of vials of blood in the normal non-purple chests, and these are like 500k each time. It really adds up. There has never been a better time to learn the Theater of Blood. If you're looking to start getting into the Theater of Blood, I recommend Exac's 1-minute guides. They're really good, and they only take 1 minute each. If you are looking to learn, I recommend joining the We Do Raids Discord. This is a great place to find people to raid with, even if you are a learner. What you're going to want to do is very simple. You're going to come here to the board, you're going to make a party, then you're going to go into the chat, and you're going to say something along the lines of your world number, the server that you are on, how many people you want to join, and what roles you are looking for. 5 minutes later, you should have a team that is ready to go squish the Spider Lady. Tob should take you 133 hours to become a billionaire with 333 completions. That's just 2.5 hours a week. At the end of the day, this is just a video game and you gotta be having fun to do it. If you hate these activities, don't do them. Do what you like to do. If you want to become a billionaire, just do something that makes money, do it over time, and don't lose money gambling, selling back your gear, or any other goofy thing. If you're feeling bored, getting burnt out, just take a break. RuneScape will be there when you want to come back, I promise you. Thank you guys so much. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.